It didn't work. I'll try
Didn't
again.
work.
No, I'm trying.
It
Oh,
says,
there
yeah,
it is.
it says recording on my
Now
screen.
it's going.
Yeah,
It needs
it's
like
working.
20 more % and we'll actually be there.
Oh,
All right, dude.
oh, there's the
Yeah.
little thing.
You see it?
Okay.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we're live. We did it. All right, cool
Yay.
beans. All right, I'm going to click this button. And boy, it looks weird on the Instagram, I'll tell you that much. How does it look
does?
on? Yeah, does it look okay for you?
Okay, I'm going to pull it up. It's cropped in, so like you can't see our faces.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I wonder how we fix that. Let me see here. There's got to be a way. Layout.
Yeah, it's got to be something in the settings.
See if that did anything. Bear with us, guys. We're working on it. Yeah. Okay. That looks better, huh?
Yeah, because now it's going back and forth to each of us somewhat. Yeah.
I can do it this way too. They're like these people. All right, I think we
We're
did
writers. We're not technical people.
Yeah, right. Come on, man.
There we go.
I'm not like a pro streamer. You know.
This isn't my jam.
All right, so I've got Christy with me. Welcome to the live taping of episode 287. Thanks for being with me.
Yay! Thanks for having me.
All right, so if you guys have any questions or concerns or comments or anything, pop them in the comments there about screenwriting, and we'll hit those at the end of our live today when we do our Q&A session. But while they're doing that, how have you been?
I've been okay. How have you been?
Well,
it's been a week.
It's been a week. I didn't get a lot of TV consumption in this week, unfortunately, but I did watch Weapons.
Okay. Yay. Let's talk about it.
Okay. Because you wanted me to check it out. You said you thought it was a really interesting way that they were structuring it. And so, all right, so I watched it and I did enjoy it. It was that kind of that Rashomon style perspective, right? Where you have different characters kind of taking the lead and then following the story from their perspective. And that is the part I really liked, is how the perspective changed per character.
Yes. Yeah. It's very not very like common that you see even in kind of just the US cinema structure. Like it was a big debate between a group of friends that we all went to see it, and then we were standing out in the parking lot talking, and a lot of people really appreciate it, and they understand kind of that story dynamic and the approach on doing the storytelling that way.
Yeah.
And a lot of my other friends just didn't like it. And I can see where the pull comes from, because you start with a character, and in our mind, in our psychology of kind of just our general audience brain, like we stay with the central character through every film, and we want to be able to stay with that central character and kind of go through the flow of the story. But then when you're pulled out and then put into another POV, and then you're taken away from that, what kind of the foundational element of what you believe the central character to be, it was very jarring for a lot of people that watched it in my friend group. Because a lot of them were like, I just felt like I kept getting pulled out and then put back in. And so they felt like they couldn't get invested into it and fully go with the flow of it until the ending. When you get to the ending and kind of the act 3 or whatever you want to call it, and then it kind of ramps up to 1,000. But yeah, some of my friends really liked it. Some of them didn't. I thought it was very unique and very different. I love this director.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
I liked it better than Barbarians. Barbarians was his
Oh,
last film.
Hands down. Yeah. I was
I
not
was
a
like,
huge fan of Barbarian.
yeah, the whole infantilization thing going on in Barbarians was, it was just throwing me off. I wasn't, I mean, I understood what they were going for, but like it wasn't resonating with me. Um, in this film, I can see if I try and like see through the audience lens why the POV shift was throwing them off. Because it
Mm-hmm.
really is like if you see all the camera work he does, the introduction of the kids, if you notice, you never see any of the parents' faces. Like the first couple minutes of the film,
Mm-mm.
while you're hearing the monologue, you only see the kids because you're on the kid's perspective. So he's very heavy leaning into that forced perspective because he's teaching you essentially, like, as we watch this film, we are going to switch perspectives. Right now, we're looking through the eyes of a kid. Then we're going to look through all of the different teachers. Like when we see Julia Garner's perspective, right? We don't even realize that Josh Brolin is in the movie and he's the one screaming, off camera. Like we don't
Right.
even know that's going on. So it is that kind of forced, like you are only going to see this person's perspective. So I guess that is a bit demanding on the audience.
Sure.
I really appreciated it and found it enjoyable. Especially if you really noticed how each character's perspective changed in the way they interpreted a moment changed. Like the cop who was Julia Garner's ex-boyfriend, when they meet in the bar,
Right.
from his perspective, they have this long, lingering, almost romantic hug, right? From her perspective, it's just like a gentle, quick, hey, how are you? And I thought, wow, you can follow that through everything throughout the films. So it's almost like you have all of these slightly unreliable narrators. I actually thought it was really cool. What I had,
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, is the unreliable narrative. Yeah.
yeah, just slightly different with each character. My big thing was is I went into this going understanding that this was a dark comedy, but I did not find any kind of lighter, funny moments at all. I found disturbing,
Wait a minute, hold
weird,
on.
odd characters.
Where did you get dark comedy? Because this was always
Yes,
pitched as a horror film.
someone was telling me this is a dark comedy. I was like, okay. I saw some stuff online where this was supposed to be a dark comedy. I was like, okay. I read an interview where the director was saying I cut some of the comedy out because people didn't get it. And I was like, okay. So I go in and I'm like, I'm not finding any comedic moments at all, other than maybe the opening line where the kid is trying to kind of monologue, which I thought was kind of cute and funny, even though it was a very dark content, which I thought was purposeful. But I wasn't, if there was comedy in here, it wasn't landing on me. And that could just be because I'm thick.
I didn't nowhere near think that this was anything close to a comedy. Like when we heard it was horror, we were like, okay, another horror film coming out. And then of course you then think like Barbarian and then this. So you're like, okay, they're both on the horror thread. But this ended up being more of like a dark thriller than even a horror film per se.
I agree with that for sure.
So dark comedy, I don't know who said that. Even if the director said that, I'm very confused because there was no comedy to be had in any of this.
I mean, that makes me feel better because I have to be honest with you, like even watching, if we go way back in the day to like a dark comedy like The Cable Guy, like I watched The Cable Guy. I didn't even find The Cable Guy very funny. Like that type of comedy just kind of goes over my head a bit. So when I'm sitting here and I'm not laughing at the movie, I'm like, okay, it literally could just be because I'm just not getting it and everybody else sees the comedy in this. So I'm glad I can mention it to you. I'm curious if anybody at home watched Weapons, if they thought that there was comedic aspect to it, because I would like to hear what they have to say, get their opinions. But yeah,
I'd love to
I
hear. I'd love
enjoyed
to
it.
hear how people thought.
I thought that.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Did you the main antagonist, the ant? So creepy though.
Oh, I know, right? And that actress, like coming out of nowhere. We haven't seen her in anything in like, I don't know how many years. And all of a
Forever.
sudden, forever. And I mean, for me, her most iconic role is Field of Dreams. I love her in that movie.
Right.
But this is so just, yeah, just you could tell that she was having fun with what she was doing with that role.
Oh, like even the way
And
she
to
was
a
like
point you could even,
walking and creeping up on, and like, what the hell is happening?
yeah. And what what the heck is happening? It was different. It was very, very different. But again, like I said, this particular filmmaker, it didn't surprise me because of what we had seen with Barbarian. I
Right.
expected that there was going to be this element of what the antagonist is just so outside of the box,
Yeah.
creepy and different. What I really appreciated, like I said, about Weapons is even though the storytelling structure and style is unique and different, it, again, I agree with you. For me, I enjoyed it better than Barbarian, because I feel like what I struggled with Barbarian was it felt like 3 different movies jammed into one. Where this one is,
I see that.
It's definitely one through line, one film, but you're just kind of getting the different perspectives of how the story was told. So, yeah, I liked it. I thought it was a pretty good film.
I think you're right. I think definitely the theme of this film, which was like kind of like that parasitic influence that, invades your home and takes over, because that is the theme. And we see little hints in here, cordyceps and all that stuff when the kids are learning about it in school. And obviously with the ant is representing that. I found that very interesting. And the director was talking about his inspiration was that he came from an alcoholic family and how
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
alcoholism
yeah.
came
And
in.
you
And
could see that. Mm-hmm.
wow, I mean,
Yeah,
that was like eye-opening. And then this is such a unique way to show that.
yeah. And which yeah, I thought that when I read that, I was like, oh, wow, very interesting. I didn't get that at first when I first watched it, but then reading some of the interviews with the director
Yeah.
and stuff, what I thought was very unique, and we kind of talked about it right after when we walked out, was what we likened it to, and thematically was like how a community in a town or a group of people deal with kind of tragedy that happens like at a school level. So
Oh
we
yeah,
thought this was
sure.
like,
Like a
this must would
shooting.
be like when like
Yeah.
there's a school shooting
Wow.
and the community wants to blame somebody,
For
and how
sure.
everybody processes and grieves differently and everything. And so we felt like that was a big commentary on that. That's what kind of our big takeaway was at first too,
I like that.
for that one.
I th-
So
I can see that
lots of
too.
themes in there.
Yeah, especially, I mean, they even show like an automatic rifle on the guy's dream, right? So I mean, even that's even visually some
Exactly.
subtext there, yeah. And the whole weapons theme, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense. As far as the ant character goes, I was really curious, like, why is she's so overtly animated with everything, and so she had mentioned that she asked the director the origins, right, of her character, and he said you've got two options. And the first option is that she's a cancer survivor and she has dived deep into the voodoo black arts or whatever in order to survive. The second option is that she is a creature that is doing its best to pretend to be human. And if you look at that second description, you start seeing like, that's amazing. Hence the costuming and the weird hair and the clothes that don't look right and the kind of way she's moving, almost as if it's, like an alien inhabiting a human body, and like Men in Black almost. So, yeah, I thought that was very interesting.
That's that's really unique and very different. I didn't even like, when you think about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
I know. I love that
I
layer
like
of it.
that.
I
That
was
was
like,
like
oh,
very
that's
different.
so fun. All right. Well,
Yeah.
that's the only movie I watched this week. Is there anything that you caught that you wanted to chat about?
Well, so we watched two movies on Saturday night. We kind of had a movie night at a friend's house, and we had started watching 28 Years Later a couple months ago, but the power went out in our theater, so we didn't get to finish it. So we got to finish it on Saturday night, which was awesome because the ending was not what we expected. And that I don't know if you saw it, but
28 weeks later.
28 years later. So this
yeah, 20 years later. Yeah, no, out. I did watch it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I haven't seen the first and the second one in quite some time. Okay. But this third one was just I really just love all the, again, talking about the thematic aspects of what we got from the film and what I got from the film, and the fact that, you know, this kid who knows nothing of like the other world that used to be. And so for him, what he knows is kind of his familiarity, but his only kind of, what I felt like was his only attachment to actual like humanity was his mother. And so he has this experience with his father where he goes out and they go to the mainland and then they come back, but everything just feels so surreal to him. Like nothing is like what it seems. And he's like, right. You're lying about what happened. That's not what happened, but his dad's just making up the story to make him look great. So he has no sense of like reality, except for when he's with his mom. And then that's his kind of connection to humanity. And so to be able to go through the whole story to the end, where we get to the end and we see what happens with his mother being sick and then coming across the doctor. But the very end, the last 5 minutes was probably one of those shocking 5 minutes. And not because it was like terrible, but talk about like a total tonal theme twist of what is happening? Like we got excited. We jumped off the couch. I was like, what's going on? What's happening?
There's more movie. Oh no, those are the credits.
Okay, there's more movie. We're so down for this though. Like what's going to happen in the next movie? So yeah, we got to watch 28 Years Later and finally finish it. And now I'm kind of looking forward to what they're going to do in the next one. But I could see where they're going because we just kind of, I don't want to spoil it, but you know, we just watched what happened with him and his mom. He's lost all sense of humanity now. So like what is human and what is not? And I think that's every kind of theme when you deal with kind of these virus zombie films, is really dealing with like, are the humans the actual ones that are the non-human? Like they've lost all humanity. It's very interesting.
I think the movie is tonally all over the place. It's not that he's trying to figure out the film as he goes along. He knows what he's trying to say, but I just think they're covering so much. But for me, what I was getting from this film is like, this is a meditation on death. Like it was when they get to the doctor and the whole skull shrine and all of that stuff, and the way that he's talking about all of these were people. I mean, as someone who's stared death down the barrel a couple of times, I can start seeing like, maybe this is someone who is trying to come to terms with like the fact that we are all very limited time here. And then showing that on screen the way they did, I actually really liked. And then summing it up with essentially a callback to the opening prologue of the film was nice. And then seeing that, because the entire time I'm like, okay, where is Jimmy? Like, I would like to know where Jimmy is, because his name is on a lot of buildings. So I'm hoping there's a Jimmy payoff. So yeah. And then and then they all look like Jimmy Savile, who is this predatory character that everyone found out in the UK. Like he was actually quite popular in person, and then they discover that he's actually quite predatory. And so then to have these characters dress up like him and all use his name is showing you exactly like, okay, these are not good people. So yeah, it was very interesting. All right. Well, hopefully we don't have to wait another 28 years, huh?
No, I think think the next one's coming out in like another month or two. I don't know.
28 seconds later. All right. So
20.
Do you ever find any trash screenwriting advice lately?
So I just read, well, okay. I'm not sure if this is necessarily advice, but it was definitely like a conversation starter with a group of my friends.
Okay.
Where we were reading about like what readers like to see when I always see the like write for a reader, don't write for a filmmaker, don't write for whatever, write for a reader. And which then led into a huge argument with my group, because a lot of my group are independent filmmakers. And so like they write either what they're going to make, or they write that what they know that they can make themselves. Sure. And they're all independent producers and stuff. So it was a unique conversation. But one of the discussions was, should you put children or animals in your scripts? Because writing a scene or scenes with animals, or even kids, because kids, having kids on a set or writing a story that centers around children or animals seems to be very challenging on a filmmaking level. And so I looked it up, and I did see that there were a lot of people saying like, oh, it's very difficult. Like you should really consider not writing anything that has an animal in it, because you don't know if you can get that animal. You don't know if that's going to.
Yeah.
And I just thought, why don't you just write your story? Like if you know you're going to make it and you don't want to have to deal with an animal, okay, don't write a scene with an animal. Don't write a scene that's very challenging to film. But if you're just a screenwriter and you're just writing a story, just write your story. Like let them figure that out later.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was very unique, because it caused a huge argument in our group.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Listen, so, everyone was just like, well, what? But then
if you're writing a script and a cat is imperative to the script, then you're going to write a script about a cat. If you're writing a script about a family with children and that script story needs those children, you're writing a script about children. I mean, that's just the way it is. So if this is the story that you want to write, and this means something to you and you're passionate about it and you need to get this out there, then write it. If you're writing something to sell and you're trying to cut the budget down and you're looking for an indie producer and you're specifically creating this script to get something made and you don't need those elements, then yeah, of course, cut them out. Come up with something different. I mean, that's where it's at. One of the films I wrote had a child part in it recently, and the producer had a kid actor in mind. I want this kid actor. You can write this part. Great. I will write that part. Awesome. I can write this family with a kid. But in other scripts, when I was writing and they had a kid, I had to make them college age. So that way they could, hire an adult to play this, 18-year-old college kid, just to make it work and get it made.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I really think it depends on what you want and what you're trying to do. But at the end of the day, it comes down to what is the most important story for you to tell. I want to give you an example. Yeah. So I developed a TV show. I pitched it to a producer. The producer loved the TV show, and I developed this TV show specifically so that I can get it made. And then I sat down to write it, and I had no gas in the tank to write this show. Nothing. I have no interest in writing this show. I can't get behind the character's perspective. And so I may end up abandoning this project that was going to have a green light, because I wrote it to get made, not for I didn't write it for a way for me to write it. So I can't get
okay. I get you.
I can't get motivation to write this story because it's not interesting to me, but it is marketable and people want to make it. So I'm dealing with that right now.
Interesting. So when you say like you wrote it to get it made, meaning like you just wanted to sell the project and sell the idea, but you were not going to sign on as a showrunner or head writer or anything like that.
They want me to write it. I mean, I've developed a show. I
Mhm.
could give it to somebody else and they could write it and get it made, but the producers want me to write it, and I'm at the point where it's like I kind of just want to sell you this, this deck and sell you the concept and then
Mhm.
let you find somebody else to do it because it's not there. It's not in the heart. And I don't want to
Yeah.
write something without soul anymore, if that makes sense. So,
Oh,
yeah.
no, but hands down. It's very challenging.
Yeah.
It can be very challenging.
It's
So,
a lot
and
of
some
time.
people it is a lot of time. Some people thrive in that. They don't mind that. They love
Yeah.
being able to take something else and kind of make it their own and go in their own direction with it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's not the writer that I am, but
Mhm.
I do know other writers like that. But when it's a show like that, and I think it's admirable that you can admit that you're not in it the way somebody else might, because they're going to feel like, well, it's mine, and even though I'm not fully in it, I'm going to do it and I'm going to write it. But I think it's great that you recognize, hey, I'm not going to be able to do this justice, and you need somebody who can probably take the reins now and captain this ship that I'm not going to be able to do. So
Yeah.
I think that's very admirable. If you've got a great concept and you've got a great foundation, pass it off to the next person who really wants to kind of take the challenge.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I mean, I've been very fortunate. I've worked with some incredible producers, Harley, Paris, and I've been able to, get a part of me in the script that I feel like I can really get behind. So when I'm writing from these characters, it feels like I'm writing from a truth, which then kind of infuses that soul into the script to create that emotional journey that feels real instead of just kind of trying to stay detached from it and then just writing words and hopefully these aren't boring. Just not interested in that. So yeah, I've been really
Yeah.
lucky with the producers I've worked with, and they get it and they encourage it. Yeah, so I mean, I didn't think a trash screenwriting tip would go this deep, but here we are.
But that's good. That's good. It's good to hear,
Yeah.
because sometimes I like to hear that other writers either kind of struggle the way that I do, or I think, gosh, am I just being weird, or should I just like suck it up and bite the bullet and do whatever? But I love to hear that there's other writers out there that are going through that kind of the same thing, because we're emotional creatures, and
Yeah.
we're very sensitive creatures, us screenwriters. So
S- so sensitive.
we need
I
a
am.
we need our little community. We need our pack.
Oh my God. All right. So I wanted to add a little segment just about industry stuff.
Okay.
And we can call it whatever you want to call it. We can call it industry stuff, or we can soft test some names out there. But I've heard something going around called thumbnail pitch, and I don't know if that's something you're familiar with. I wanted to chat with you about it for a minute.
No, I have not heard this, but
Yeah.
I'm very curious.
So the thumbnail pitch is like, congratulations, your log line got even shorter. So essentially, it is if you're sitting down watching streaming, what are you doing? You're looking at thumbnails, right? And so,
Yeah.
is that thumbnail going to stop the viewer and interest them enough to watch that movie? So now it's coming down to screenwriters out there who are trying to get stuff made and trying to make their stuff marketable. Now is another consider because you're not doing enough. So now is another consideration of
Right.
when I get this thing optioned, when I get this thing made, will the thumbnail make sense? So it's like, because we don't have enough things to think about. But to be quite honest with you, I mean, really, a thumbnail should be the responsibility of the filmmakers. But I don't even think it's as big of a deal as everyone is making it. Because really, what is a thumbnail? It's a movie poster. It's just like The Conjuring behind you, or like Alien,
Mhm.
where, in space, no one can hear you scream. It's just a movie poster.
Yep.
That's all a thumbnail is. So I would try and, bulletproof my script so that if it is shown on a movie poster, people know what it is. I mean, that would be
Yeah.
my suggestion. I wouldn't go too overboard, oversimplifying my script so that the thumbnail is sick.
Yeah. I mean, it really, it's just like you said, it's creating a tagline, which is what you see on the posters and stuff. So yeah, you're right. How do you even shorten your log line even shorter? Come up with a very unique creative tagline.
I want 6 words.
Not 6 words or less. And like you just said, like Alien's got a unique tagline. Lots of other things have unique taglines. So you're 100% right. I think it's very interesting that like people are starting to even think in that perspective, which makes sense because we do live in the streaming online world. And so if I'm scrolling through even like a Netflix or an Amazon, they're kind of creating their own little thumbnails for your projects, and then they've got their own little like synopsises or whatever that they've got there. But is it unique enough? Is that image unique enough, and is the wording unique enough that it would grab you? And I think it is something to think about and take into consideration. But yeah, you're just basically kind of making your movie poster, really.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, so I wouldn't overthink it, guys. Sometimes people kind of come up with new terms and then you start going, "Oh no," but it's okay. If anybody has any
Yeah.
if anyone has any screenwriting questions, drop them in the comments. We'll be happy to talk about them. So, one thing I was asked earlier is how many drafts do you do before you submit a script?
Whew.
You want
How
my
much
answer?
time do you have?
Or do you? Yeah, we got time.
Jeffrey, I would like to know your answer. I might have a guess as to what you're going to say.
I will do a dozen drafts before I submit a script to a producer, but usually after I'm working with a producer, I'm hitting like 25.
Drafts at least.
Yeah, for sure.
And here's the question. Explain draft though, because you can do revisions and you can do some edits, but does that necessarily mean it's a full draft?
That's a good point.
Do you mean 25 like versions versus drafts?
Yeah. I would say that's more accurate. Yeah. Passes through the script, making changes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, I've gotten up to the 12 to 15, even just the recent thing we shot. I probably was on about like 12 or 13 before we're like, okay, we've got kind of a shooting script to go off of. And then we were on set making changes anyway. So
isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I optioned a script where I did 37 passes.
Woo. Now, so here's the follow-up to that. Is the writer asking because they just want to know how many times they should probably go through it, get eyes on it, make changes to it? Or is it because you've got a producer or somebody who's coming back to you and saying, okay, now I want this change, now I want that change? Like
it was
where do you draw the line question. On that?
No, it was an honest question, and I think they wanted to know if they were overwriting, because like I'm doing this many passes, how many is enough? I find usually writers do too few passes. They do 3-4 drafts and they think we're good. And I'm like, 3 or 4 drafts, you haven't even found the voice of your characters yet. But
probably not.
Yeah. And but I think they were putting in a ton of passes, and so they were like, am I OCD or am I doing too many passes? I'm like, no, I think you're getting it. I think you're right where you need to be. So yeah, I did sit at a red carpet premiere of this film that made no sense, and I didn't understand it. And so I was a less nice person then. Let's put it that way. I was. I mean, I was like, I can't believe I asked this question in front of an audience. So then I raised my hand and I asked, it's a full house, red carpet premiere. We're all dressed up nice. And I said, "How many drafts did you do?" Like, I can't believe I did. Like, man, I hope
That's
I
fair.
have more. I know it's so rude. I hope I have more tact now. But I said, "How many drafts did you do with this thing?" And then the writer couldn't give me an answer. And then I looked at him, I said, "He
Ugh,
did one. He did one draft. That's a one draft script. You can't tell me how many drafts you did.
probably.
You didn't do any." Yeah.
You
So
didn't, yeah, you didn't do enough.
I
You didn't do enough. That's clear. Yeah.
I
You
like to
can
hope
tell when you watch a movie, you can.
I like to hope I'm a better person now. All right. Well,
Well, how many years ago was that, Jeffrey?
it was a long time ago. It was a long
Okay.
time
Okay.
ago. Yeah.
All
I've
right.
learned to socialize now. So I brush
can
my
be
teeth,
around
I
people now.
shower, I do all kinds of stuff now. So completely better person. All right. Well, it looks like that's all we've got for questions. Did you want to do this again?
Yeah, let's do it again.
All right, we'll do another live like this, guys. You come on back and ask any questions. We'll do a Q&A at the end of it. And thanks a lot.